So this isn't the first time someone has made the argument that Justin Trudeau is the most corrupt prime minister of all time. It's also not my first time, and I'm going to make it again. But what I'm really, and it's just been days of frustration, what I really want to put an end to, and I want to make the point is, Justin Trudeau is not a good person. Okay? And in general, I do dislike in politics when we impugn the motives of the other side, right? All liberals are just evil, or all conservatives are just evil. I do really hate this rhetoric. But I think Justin Trudeau is past the point of redemption where we cannot humor him anymore as, oh, he's a good person, oh, he's really nice, oh, he's just trying to help people. No. Let's go over all of these scandals and just see where we're at. So the first ethics scandal, the most minor one, taking money from the Aga Khan to go on a family vacation there. Clearly corrupt. The Aga Khan's a lobbyist. You can't do that. Now, minor one, let's not go over that one right now. But the biggest scandal is the SNC-Lavalin scandal. And I'll do this one last because it's the most important. Because we have the We scandal. Again, and here we have in the We is just the sense of arrogance and entitlement from Justin Trudeau. Right? Oh, $900 million? What? Oops, I just due diligence on $900 million? What, check your privilege, white people. Us non-white people, Justin Trudeau, of course, being a black man, self-identified. We just throw $900 million around. It's an element of white privilege to, I don't know, do some due diligence on who you give nearly $1 billion to. All right, so you have the just not caring about funding money, right? The fact that they were paying his family members, right? His mother and his brother. The mother made the case. You can make the case for paying Margaret Trudeau. His brother, who was a former propagandist for the Islamic Republic of Iran, how does that qualify him to talk to children? How does it? Iran is the country that executes the most children in the world, both in mass and per capita. They do more than China. How does it? Why does he need $100,000 to speak to kids? Okay, so we have all that, and then the fact that he doesn't know where his wife is, he doesn't know what his wife is, he doesn't know how much money his wife has made, doesn't know this, doesn't know that, doesn't know where he is, who he is, what he's doing. Okay? Fine. It's standard corruption. It's a political slush fund. They were making advertisements to Trudeau. He sent money to them. They send money to him. They all do each other favors. Classic political cesspool. Now, the fact that, again, he can't take responsibility for anything is a show of bad character. But I really want to go into Justin Trudeau's impulses. Okay, and let's go into the biggest ethics violation and the biggest scandal in Canadian history, the SNC-Lavalin. So the scandal is he took money from a corporation that gives him personal donations to the Trudeau Foundation and to the Liberal Party, SNC-Lavalin. And he created a special law for them so they wouldn't have to face a felony for the illegal stuff they did in Muammar Gaddafi's Libya, and then they'd be able to still bid on government contracts. So essentially, a friendly Quebec company to him, he could still shovel government money to them if he created a special law. The Attorney General disagreed with the use of the deferred prosecutor's agreement, and there's an independent prosecutor set that up. Now, what Justin Trudeau tried to do is essentially just become the dictator of the country. Now, I'm sorry if he didn't understand what he's doing. Then your argument is he's just really, really stupid, right? He's either really, really stupid, doesn't understand anything, or he's actually acting with malice. And these are the only two options you kind of have in the SNC-Lavalin thing, because I've made this point before. Countries need a balance of power, democracies. Americans talk about we have the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature, right? And the legislature is even broken into two in America, right? You have the president, executive, House, and Senate, and then you have the Supreme Court. Okay. In Canada, our Senate is basically useless. Nuke the Senate, does nothing. And the executive is combined into the House of Commons. So the president, in our case, so the prime minister, sort of forms the laws and votes on them in the House of Commons. So you basically have a system where our executive and legislative branch are rolled into one, and it's not even like the legislative is really even split into two all that well. So that's a lot of power that the prime minister has, a lot of power. The prime minister of Canada is a lot more powerful than the president of the United States of America. Like, not on an international level, but on an internal level. What Justin Trudeau did is he effectively turned himself into a de facto dictator when he fired Jody Wilson-Raybould for standing up to him. Then he fired Jane Philpott for saying it was the bad thing to do. Side note, wouldn't it be great if Jane Philpott was the health minister instead of, like, Patty Hajdu? Having a graphic designer who's, like, taking private jets to her house during COVID-19, do you think people would listen more to Patty Hajdu or Jane Philpott, a well-respected medical doctor during a pandemic? Thrown out there. So he gets, and the kids are like, oh, he says he's a feminist and he's an Aboriginal, but he's firing women. It's not about the fact that Jody Wilson-Raybould was Aboriginal when she was a woman. She did the right thing, and he fired her, right? He's an autocrat by nature, right? His impulse is to power, right? Anyone who challenges him, get rid of them. That's Justin Trudeau's impulse. It's not a good impulse. And again, his impulse as SNC-Lavalin is, I don't care about the future of this country. I don't care about the structures of democracy. I will ruin the whole system just to do a favor for my friends. Now, you can say maybe he's naive. Maybe he's well-intentioned. That doesn't make him a good person. You can be a bad person and be well-intentioned, right? It is incumbent morally upon the person who holds the power of office to understand the ramifications of how they use that power. That is fundamentally true. Okay, so Justin Trudeau doesn't get to say, oh, I didn't really understand what I was doing when I, fired the Attorney General and then basically wanted to strong-arm the judiciary to fold all the powers of government into the Prime Minister's office. Oh, I didn't know, right? And then you have this media bailout, right? So every faction of society, he is trying to take control over, right? And I don't care if he thinks it's good that he does it because he's the best person, then that's narcissism. That's still not a good person, right? If a narcissist is acting in their best interest and truly believes that their best interest is the world interest, that's a pretty narcissistic worldview. Are they a good person? No, it's a pretty narcissistic human being. And just because he's throwing out free money, right, eventually we're going to have to pay for that. Nothing's free in life. So, Justin Trudeau has an autocratic impulse, right? Will punish people who go against this impulse, doesn't care about the structure and the future of the country he's governing, quite clearly, and it has a holier-than-thou attitude. Like, this isn't a good person, is really what I wanted to get across here. Because, yes, he's corrupt, okay? Only sitting prime minister to be hit with an ethics violation, he's got 3. Okay, and I can forgive the Aga Khan thing. When you look into it, it's actually a bit worse than it sounds, but it's not anywhere near as bad as the WE scandal. The WE scandal is really bad, but it's nowhere near as bad as the SNC-Lavalin scandal, right? And the fact is that he has bought, bribed, and bullied his way into sort of being a de facto dictator. Now, he's kind of been stopped, but if he wins another term, right, the media is not going to go against him. His caucus has been purged of anyone with a spine. The Conservative Party's spinning in circles. What do we do? Okay, so it's not he's stupid. It's not that he's evil. It's not he's corrupt. It's just he's not a good person. He's not a good person. I don't care what his motives are. Clearly, he has failed as a leader. He has failed as probably a husband to listen. I'm not going to get into his family life. Just all I want to say is, Justin Trudeau, you are not a good leader. You're not a good person. And please, for the love of God, stop trying to ruin the country and turn it into a dictatorship. Like, respect the balance of power in some respect. Come on. Be a better man.